Think about your favorite board game or the sport that you love the most. And that game, that sport has certain rules or regulations that you have to play by. And it's by playing by those rules that make the game fun, make the game fair, and ultimately there's usually a winner and a loser in that sport, in that game. Now think about your own life. Do you know that you have created your own personal rules for success that you're playing this game of life with? And those personal rules that you've created consciously and subconsciously are responsible for your results. Now consider this. We might not be able to change the rules in a football game or a Monopoly game, but we actually have to change our own personal rules for success if we want to produce new results. The rules that you've been playing by are going to continue to create the same results in your life. Your vision, your goals, your dreams require a new set of rules. They require us to change our personal rules for success. So let me give you some examples of this. You may have heard the rule that it takes 5 years for a business to be successful. Or maybe you have a personal rule for success about how many hours you have to put in, how hard it's going to be, how long it's going to take to accomplish something. We have these rules or these beliefs that are operating in our life. I had a strong belief that if I wanted to be successful in business, I had to work longer, harder, faster. And if I wasn't putting in a 40, 50, 60-hour work week, I didn't deserve the success. So if I wanted the results, it was going to require more time in. That was a personal rule that I had based on my upbringing, based on things that I had heard. And that belief produced me working those long hours in order to get the results. It took changing that rule. What if I could work shorter hours and make more money? One of my personal rules that I had for myself was nobody's going to be available during the day. I'm going to have to work evenings and weekends. And so that's the result I produced until one day I said, well, what if people were available during the daytime to work with you? And as a result of me changing that rule or changing that belief, I started to attract to me people who were available to work with me during the day, which is when I wanted to work, to free up my evenings and my weekends to be there for my family and my kids. As you're considering your vision, your goals, what it is that you want to create in this next year, it's important to look at what do I believe or what are my current rules or beliefs about achieving this goal. And we've created a worksheet for you to work through this because we need to be able to identify those beliefs or those rules in order to change them and shift them. So taking a look at your vision and what you want to create in this next year, and what rules do you have in place that are actually going to hold you back rather than launch you forward? And what would a new rule be that you can put in place to help you really achieve that goal, really achieve that result that you would love? Achieving your goals, achieving your dreams requires us to change our own personal rules for success. And the first step is to be able to identify what rules do I have in place? What do I believe about this? Once you have those identified, here's my new belief. Here's the new rule. You have autonomy over what that new rule is. You get to create your own playbook. So is it time to throw that old playbook away and really put something new in place that's going to serve you? Make sure you take a look at that worksheet. Do this work. It will transform your results. Here's to you living a life you love.